Good morning. Welcome to the 2020 United Way Hastings and Prince Edward Fundraising Campaign Achievement Celebration. On behalf of our Board of Directors, our staff team, and our campaign cabinet, we're so glad that you could join us. My name is Brandy Hodge. I'm the Executive Director here at United Way, and I never thought that we would be delivering this announcement to you virtually, but alas, here we are. I hope that you are safe at home with a coffee in hand and you can join us for the next few minutes and reflect back on some celebrations for the community. The Achievement Celebration is always an opportunity for us as an organization and as a community to reflect back on the prior year and what a year it has been. I remember at the beginning of the first provincial lockdown, driving the streets as I was coming to and from work and just seeing the businesses whose doors were closed because the idea of curbside pickup, we haven't fully evolved that yet, didn't know what that quite looked like and how that could be implemented for small business. And so therefore doors were closed. Offices lights were off and they were empty. Parking lots were empty. And it was an incredibly surreal time. And when it felt like the world was kind of shutting down and closing in on itself, there was a whole sector of people that were ramping up. And people who form organizations were going to work really quietly, quickly, efficiently, starting the process of managing the change that is required in order to continue the programs and the services that our community relies on. Almost overnight, weekly meal programs became daily meal programs. Counseling sessions and supports that would only ever have been available face-to-face, one-on-one, were then available virtually. Kids who used to go to a youth center in order to receive supports with their learning were getting that on an iPad or a laptop or their phone from the same people that they would typically visit at that youth center, but they were delivering it in a different way. Parents who access services from different organizations in order to really optimize their role as parents were getting supports and services delivered to their driveway or at their curbside. And yard visits meant that the organizations loaded their vehicles up with the resources, made them accessible to the families who needed them to really ensure both the parents' success and their children's success in the home. Seniors who, maybe the day before had been able to go out and get their own groceries, but all of a sudden they were learning that they needed to stay at home where it was safe for them. But as a result, getting the basic needs of life, their groceries, their pharmacy pickups, proved to be a challenge. And United Way was so proud to develop a new program, a grocery shopping and delivery program in partnership with Belleville Police Service that took orders over the phone, where we went to the grocery store, we shopped for grocery orders, and we delivered them directly to seniors so that they could stay home, but they also had what they needed to be comfortable and safe. We've developed some amazing relationships over the course of the last few months, relationships we will cherish as we move into the next year. All of that innovation and all of that creativity and flexibility was inspiring to watch and to be a part of. I've worked in the not-for-profit sector for the better part of 30 years now, and I can honestly say that I have never been more proud to do this work than I am right now. And there are two things that I believe in my heart of hearts. One is that the social sector was responding to the social crisis, and that enabled the healthcare sector to respond to the health crisis. We've always worked in partnership. The work of the social sector has always supported the work of the health sector. People who live in poverty are at far higher risk of ending up in the emergency room than those who don't. We know that people who are homeless are going to end up in the emergency room. We know that people who are isolated and struggling with their mental health could end up in the emergency room. So when the social service sector became creative and flexible and innovative and adapted to change and pivoted, and pivot is a word that I think that we all can agree we don't ever want to hear again after 2020, but pivot is what they did. And by doing so, across our community, across the province, and across this country, we enabled the healthcare sector to really focus on the health crisis. And we are so proud of that work. The second thing that I know is that all of that was possible because of you. Donor dollars and fundraised dollars are what allow creativity and innovation to happen. That prevention, the preventative nature of community-based services is really fostered by donor dollars and fundraised dollars. You can be so proud of the impact that you had and your contributions had across our whole community over the course of the last year. Thank you. Whether you are supporting the United Way campaign and the 41 agencies that we fund through that campaign, or you are donating to any other charity in our community, thank you for your contributions and your investment in the health and well-being of our community. When we set our goal this year, when we launched our campaign this year, we didn't set a goal. And we didn't set a goal because it felt arbitrary at the time to do so. We didn't understand what the economic impact of the pandemic would be on our community. We didn't understand what the capacity of our community would be to support the campaign. And therefore, we launched our fundraising year without a financial target attached to it. And instead, we committed to benchmark our progress throughout the year against the 2019 fundraising campaign, where we raised just over $1,950,000, an incredible achievement for our community and a community of our size. We knew that we needed to raise as much as we possibly could, whether it was less than last year's achievement, whether it was more than last year's achievement. What we needed to do was raise as much as we possibly could. And there were things that we committed to you as a community that we would do. We said we would recruit a team of people that could really support those efforts. And we started that by asking Inspector Sherry Meeks of Belleville Police Service if she would lead our campaign as the campaign chair. She eagerly and readily accepted that task, even though she knew she had a difficult challenge ahead of her. We surrounded her with a whole team of community volunteers who are invested in their community, who were willing to share their time, their resources, their networks, their ideas with us so that we could broaden the scope and really broaden our influence within the community so we could raise as much as possible in this year's campaign. We promise to be really transparent with you and keep you up to date all along the way with media releases, social media posts, and radio announcements. And we promise to be very bold in our approach this year, where we knew that not everyone was in the same boat with this storm, and that we would ask those who are able to support the campaign to please do so. But we would be realistic in that and make sure that we remembered that there are people and businesses in our community who have been really impacted by the pandemic and wouldn't necessarily be able to support the campaign this year. We did all of that while planning for the worst. We planned to raise less because we just didn't know what to expect. But we knew that this year's campaign was more important than it has ever been before. And apparently, you knew that as well. Take a look.
My name's Sherry Meeks. I'm an inspector with the Belleville Police Service. I've been a police officer for 25 years.
My name's Steve Vandehoof. I work as the program manager at Bridge Street United Church in downtown Belleville.
I'm Sandy Sidsworth. I'm the executive director of the Enrichment Center for Mental Health.
My name is Master Warrant Officer Derek Goche, and I'm currently co-chair for 8 Wings GC WCC campaign.
This has been a different year. I think it's been a different year globally, definitely locally in our communities.
The majority of elderly people in our community right now that live alone, they're all feeling so lonely.
I thought, wow, how are we going to do this? Because all you had to do is read a little bit of the media and what was going on around the world, and you could just I could imagine the amount of restrictions we are going to have. I had no idea just how restrictive it was going to be when it comes to fundraising. So yeah, I was quite worried.
I didn't hesitate to say, okay, I can lead this campaign and remain positive because that's what this campaign has needed.
But it's also been a year of hope, and hope coming out of partnerships that haven't existed before.
I think the unique circumstances this year is that the United Way allocated federally provided funding to organizations in the community. The importance of that, though, is that an organization like the United Way knows what the community needs.
I became involved in United Way many, many years ago. Then I became more actively involved a few years ago by becoming a member of the cabinet. We got to see new donors. We got to see people that had donated before were upping their donations.
I think the pandemic, even as much as it's a horrible thing in the world is dealing with that, I think it presented a unique opportunity to really open people's eyes to just how much trouble there is in the community. Everybody knows someone who they lost their job, or their kids are at home, or they know a business owner they went to weekly that they're not seeing anymore, and people were giving like crazy. They were waiting for opportunities to contribute because of that. They wanted to do their part.
It's actually had a privileged seat to watch that as an executive director, watch not only our agency go through this, but watching other agencies that came together under United Way's umbrella who said, come on together and let's talk about what can we do to support the most vulnerable in the community.
One thing that was personal for me this year was the grocery delivery to our more vulnerable people in the community that could not get out. And I was part of the grocery delivery that came through with United Way, and I got to see firsthand the people that were so appreciative that we were coming to them with our masks and all our PPE, and we were providing them with just the baseline, right? Food. That again just drove home the importance of United Way and the agencies that United Way supports in the community.
It's the trade-offs that people have to make, right? The heat or eat is kind of the somewhat glib way of saying it, but people have to choose between buying groceries and paying the bills.
Everyone is entitled or should have the ability to have 3 meals a day, that they shouldn't have to hoard something from breakfast to eat at supper. They have the dignity in the fact that they have choice to eat their meal when it's served.
The food programs meet the immediate need, that hunger, certainly address that, and they also, I think, assist people in using the money that they have in different ways.
So one of the personal experiences or things that made the connection for me throughout the campaign was a care package that had been delivered to an elderly female in a very remote rural location in Hastings County. The staff at United Way were so moved they wanted to share that with us as campaign cabinet members, and I can't even express that there wasn't a dry eye on the campaign cabinet listening to that.
I was just delivered a very welcome parcel from you people. I just wanted to phone you and let you know how much I appreciate being remembered and all these goodies in here. It's just more than kind of you to remember me. And I know there are many other people out there that you have remembered also, but this Christmas is particularly bad. Excuse me. I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate everything you do for me every day of my existence. Thank you very much, and a very Merry Christmas to you all.
Prior to being given this amazing opportunity to co-chair, I was like everybody else. I was aware, but sort of blindly coasting, giving every month on my paycheck. But getting involved opened my eyes to just how important United Way service is.
Without United Way, we wouldn't be able to do the staffing or maintain them. There is just no way. That money ensures that about 140 people move into a community and become self-sufficient and sustainable.
Words are never enough to express the gratitude for the donations that we get throughout the year, because again, those programs, we wouldn't have those programs, agencies wouldn't even be able to exist, some of them, when the large proportion of their funds comes from United Way.
To the donors, I think I'd simply pass on the thanks that we receive every day from people who come.
Donors build capacity for creating change, and not just within the programs that their money flows through this year. It's the potential that donors give to for that future growth or those future supports that are going to be needed. So, you know, the donor isn't just for the dollar today, the donor is for the dollar tomorrow. That's why United Way is so important to our community.
And now I'm happy and proud to announce the Campaign Achievement for United Way 2020.
It has been my honor to sit on the cabinet of the United Way Hastings Prince Edward cabinet representing individual donors. For this past campaign, individual donors donated over $250,000, which represents over 15% of our total attained funds. These funds will be integral in helping support people in our community to continue to receive a safe and supportive program. To you individual donors, thank you so much.
Thank you to all the municipal, regional, and provincial government employees for their incredible support during these difficult times.
From North Hastings Community Trust to Community Living Prince Edward and all the funded agencies in between, thank you for your support for the 2020 campaign.
Thank you to all the small businesses in Hastings and Prince Edward that contribute through corporate gifts and employee campaigns. Without your support, this wouldn't have been possible.
Thank you to all the community volunteers that made this campaign a huge success. From the allocations volunteers, to the grocery shoppers, to the ambassadors in workplaces, thank you to everybody who attended a barbecue or did their part.
Thank you to the manufacturing sector. Your support was critical to this year's success. We all know the importance of a strong, supported community where our employees live, work, and play.
Thank you to all our federal employees. Your generosity and ongoing support to the Government of Canada Charitable Workplace campaign has a real impact on our local communities.
And on behalf of the 2020 United Way Hastings and Prince Edward Campaign Cabinet, I'd like to say a huge thank you for your generous support and donations this year, which have helped to make it a huge success. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you to the foundations and service clubs that are pillars of philanthropy in Hastings and Prince Edward. Your quiet and behind-the-scenes support are vital to our success.
I'm Melanie, Director of Donor Relations here at United Way Hastings and Prince Edward. And on behalf of our staff team, we would just like to say thank you so much. We're absolutely blown away and overjoyed and excited about the results of this campaign. And we couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. And we want to make sure that we thank everybody appropriately. And there would be one person that we would be remiss if we didn't make special mention to. Mr. Morris Rollins has been contributing to the United Way Hastings Prince Edward campaign for 12 years. And in that time, he's offered a leadership matching program where he matches leader donations, that's $1,200 or more, dollar for dollar. In the beginning, he made a $25,000 commitment to the program, and it's grown over the years to now be a $125,000 commitment each and every year to matching leadership giving. And overall in that time, that has leveraged $3.5 million for our community. And that's money that's going right into the programs and services that are helping so many. So how do you thank somebody like Mr. Rollins, who has dedicated much of his life to improving this region and to supporting people that need it most? Well, we're happy to say that we have decided to name the United Way office building at 55 Harriet the Morris Rollins Center, Improving Lives and Building Community. So as we gear up for the 2021 campaign, we know that this year is going to be a little unpredictable, much the way 2020 was. Our staff team is happy to tell you that we're ready for the challenge. We're geared up and we're going to hit the ground running, and we hope you'll join us. And in the meantime, if you need to find us to ask any questions or to inquire about how to get more involved with United Way, you can find us at the Mr. Rollins Center. Thank you. Bye-bye.